It's Sal. I hope you are all well and thank you so much for joining me. Facebook just looks like it's getting started, but I just want to check. Oh, yes, okay, I think it's live. I just wanted to 100% check. And I hope everyone is able to join me today. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comment box. So if you're watching me live right now, just let me know where you're from and where you are hailing from today. And just let me know that you can hear me, because sometimes we get a little bit of technical issues. This is a brand new, Facebook have just actually changed the way you go live. So I'm not sure if I'm actually appearing. Laura, awesome. Thank you. You are my first cab off the rank and letting me know that everything is working. Thank you so much. Sometimes we don't know when Facebook moves around the way you do Facebook Live. You can sometimes think you're just sitting there talking to an empty space. So thank you, Laura. So I've got lots and lots of exciting news today and lots of fantastic content to share with you to help improve your psychic readings. Hi, Monique, how are you? So I'm going to be sharing with you a Halloween competition. So this is a competition that I like to run every year to encourage you to finish your How to Be Psychic course or any of your other courses that you have of mine. And the big prizes are going to be, you can win 3 of my courses, or you can win 2 of my courses, or 1 of my courses. So I'm going to talk about that more towards the end. I'm also going to be sharing with you some of my best tips for dream interpretation, because we've been getting a lot of questions in this group around dream interpretation, as well as being able to figure out and balance your different clairs, so your clairaudience and your clairvoyance. I'm also going to be looking at what happens if you are struggling to read for others. So if you're feeling fairly confident of reading for yourself but struggle to read for others, and how to overcome that. I'm going to talk about a question that somebody asked in this group about whether or not oracle cards are your companions or your tools, or what you rely on most with your gifts when you're giving readings. And I'm also going to be sharing with you just some extra special tips around working with your angels and your guides as well. But before I get started, I'm just going to quickly say a big thank you to the following people who have written really kind reviews in the last couple of weeks for their How to Be Psychic course. So thank you to Anaya Voira, that's a beautiful name and I hope I'm saying it correctly, Amy Vickers, Linda Byrne, Nala and Leslie Jordan, and anyone else who has taken that beautiful time and effort to just write a few comments about what you got out of How to Be Psychic and what you enjoyed about it, or any of my other courses. So thank you for that so much. So before I get started, I'm just going to check in. Hello, Carl. Hello, Laura from UK. Hello. Thank you for joining me, guys. So those of you who haven't done this before with me live, how I usually run it is I will go through the topics that I've just mentioned in the beginning there, and I'll expand on them. But if you've got any questions you really want me to ask, so anything you're really challenged by within either How to Be Psychic, or just in any of my other courses that you're running, or just any other sort of your own development, just pop it in here and I will do my very best to answer as we get towards the end. So I'm going to kick off with the very first question, and that I got asked, and Kim asked on the Udemy Q&A board. Oh, Monique, okay, awesome. So if you save that, I will answer that at the very end, because what happens if I start answering questions live, I go off track and forget what I was going to talk about in the beginning. But I'll remember that for you, that the woman, that she didn't like your reading, and I'll tell you, and that might help you a little bit too with what I'm going to address with the blockages as well. Okay, so let's start with this, being able to look at, you've got your clairvoyance. So those of you who haven't sort of started the course or are only new, there is a quiz in this course, How to Be Psychic, where you get to figure out what clair you are. Now, occasionally someone will do it and feel a little bit anxious because they'll be like, well, I don't really feel like I'm that at all. Or they may do it and get all 4 equal, and then they kind of get left feeling a bit confused. So the first thing I'll say is, when it comes to little quizzes that determine what your psychic gifts are, they are, first of all, they're not going to be 100% accurate all the time for everybody, because it might depend on what headspace you're in at the time when you do the quiz. Like, you might suddenly get triggered by one thing and think, yeah, no, that is me. But then any of you have done any kind of quizzes before know that we can sort of think, oh, I'm a bit that, but sometimes I'm that, and then we get a bit confused, and then we get annoyed about our confusion, and so we tend to mess up the answers a bit. So don't worry if the quiz didn't make sense to you, or don't worry, or even, if it feels like you're all 4, that's fantastic. Like, you don't have to overthink what your clairvoyant gifts are. Like, that's the last thing your guides and angels want you to be doing. It is more just of a, oh, okay, so I see, or oh, I hear, or I feel, or I know. But I often find, especially the more you practice, that you will often dance between all four of them. So for me, in an average session, I will be doing all four. Like, I will be hearing, I will be feeling, I will be getting some really solid knowing, and I will be seeing. And sometimes, three of them will switch off and it'll just be one. Some of them, sometimes it'll be two or three, sometimes it'll be all four. You don't have to, part of the psychic beautiful journey is to not try to scientifically map and categorize things too much, and just be like, okay, I'm getting psychic information going through. That's great. It's resonating with this person. Even better. That's what's important. So don't worry too much if you're like, oh, I feel like I'm all of them. Or I know someone the other day questioned, they said, well, I don't, like, I answered all the questions to clairsentience, but I don't feel like I'm empathic at all. I don't feel like I'm very sensitive at all. And again, that's all right. Like, that might be something that's a latent gift. It might be hidden in there. It might come out later. Or it might be just at that particular time, that's how you were feeling when you took the quiz. So again, please, with your journey, just feel like, okay, especially if you're just doing this beginner level one at this level, they're just terms to kind of get you familiar with the realm and with the world. When you go on to do psychic readings intermediate level, so that's the course that is the next course up from How to Be Psychic, I go really in depth in how to strengthen those gifts, and I break them down, like, so strengthening your clairvoyance is like dozens of exercises to do, and you don't have to do all of them, but you try them all out. So you try some of them out for an assignment, and the ones that you resonate with, and usually the ones that you don't like are the ones that are the most powerful for you. And you do that with the 4 different clairs. So you do it with clairsentience, claircognizance, and most people that have done that course, they find that they're just a lot more centered and confident in that gift. It doesn't mean that they're suddenly announcing, I am only one, or I'll never be these other 3 because one of them felt more strong for me. It's just that they sort of get a feeling of like, oh, this is how this gift works. And they kind of build up their excitement and their enjoyment of practicing it. So that's where you'll go when you finish the beginner level course. You go into that higher level of really strengthening and focusing. And I know someone mentioned in the group a few weeks ago, how do I get my psychic stamina up? And that's one of the way is consistently doing those kind of exercises. And if you're someone like me who can't do stuff every day, I'm not a good everyday person, you do them a couple of times a week and just, set yourself 10 to 15 minutes to practice it and then notice that difference. So that's a little bit about the 4 different clairs if you're not sure which one you are, and also just a bit about how to strengthen them. So, thank you. Thank you, Monique. So I'll answer those questions for you after, sweetie. So I hope that's helping. Again, if you've got any questions about your clair gifts, pop them in here too, and I will answer them at the end. Now, the second one I wanted to talk about today was we're getting so many beautiful questions in this group about dreams. And I am incredibly passionate about dreams as a form of healing modality. I think dreams, the recognition of the unconscious and the subconscious and what's going on behind the scene come through very clearly in dreams. And that's why I think it's very powerful. I know some psychic groups actually don't allow you to post questions like, what does this dream mean? I'm actually kind of okay and excited about people to do it because I think it's a really fun topic. And I also think it's worth noting that one of the reasons I don't do, as part of my client services, individual dreams, that people will often even email me and say, what does this dream mean? And the first thing I'll say to them is, what do you think it means? Because my concept of what a spider means or what being chased by a train means is going to be very different to your concept. Or my concept of missing a plane is going to be very different to your concept of missing a plane. So I like to think about, instead of always asking people, what do you think this dream means? And expecting them to be able to give you a very literal interpretation, I like to go, okay, how did this dream make me feel? Is it reflecting any area of my life? So I often dream that I'm driving a car and the car skids out of control and I'm trying to get control of the car. Now, a very obvious interpretation, I'm probably not going to go and have a car accident tomorrow. It's more likely that there's an aspect or area of my life that I currently feel like I don't have a lot of control over, and I'm experiencing that fear that you would have when you lose control of a car and you don't feel confident that you're able to drive it. And so that for me is when I have that theme, I go, oh, okay, well, what part of my life right now? Is it my health? Is it my marriage? Is it my career? Is it my house? Like, where do I feel like I don't have control? And then I go back in and do a little bit of reflection, and I might pull a few cards on that. And that's how I often like to deal with my dream interpretation. Now, quite a few people had mentioned in the group here that they were worried because they were having alarming dreams, or their cousin had had an alarming dream about something bad happening. Can I just reassure you that it is incredibly rare, and I'm saying really, really rare, to have a prophetic dream about something bad happening and it coming true. Like I talk about in How to Be Psychic, how yes, this has happened to me. But if I think of the thousands and thousands of dreams I've had in my life, it's probably only been, under 10 to 20 times that something bad has happened from a bad dream. Like, it's a very rare thing to happen. So please, if you have an awful dream and you're really worried that that is going to happen, please don't get into too much fear about it. Take a step back, pull your beautiful oracle cards like I teach you in this course, go into that healing journey a bit like I suggested before, because it is most likely it's just reflecting a deep fear. It's not likely to be a portent of something bad. Now, something I wanted to talk about today as well, which is kind of blending in with my theme about talking about working with your guides, is I think that there has been a massive increase in people having bad dreams right now. And my feeling intuitively that I got the other day when I was doing my beachy meditation is that I actually feel like it's because every day we are being exposed right now to so much doom and gloom with COVID and with Afghanistan and with US and what's going on in the economy and what's going on with this and what's going on in this country and what's going on with Brexit and no supplies and there's no shipping and China and the whole gorgeous play that is right now our lives. And I think more people than usual are watching the news for longer periods of time. And I have to say, even me, who has not always been a massive news watcher, I found myself in a bit of a reality TV nightmare. And at first I was judging myself, and I'm getting a whole lot of judgment from my husband. He doesn't like it when I get obsessive with the news. But also I realised, on a practical level, many of us have to be watching the news. So I don't think it helps to judge ourselves because we don't know, wherever we live, it could go into a lockdown. We don't know, we're looking about planning Christmas. We don't know if our kids are going to school next week. We don't know what's going on with the vaccine. We don't know what's going on with our countries opening up, or we don't know what's going on, and so these are things that are affecting us. So we kind of feel like we have to know, but sometimes we get stuck into the drama of what's going on in the news and it becomes just a Netflix series that goes on for 17 seasons. And what happens with that is I think that's what's causing a lot more of these bad dreams, because we're getting faced with every day, this professor of epidemiology is telling us XYZ, and this economist is telling us XYZ, and this housing expert's telling us XYZ. And so every day, more than I think ever before in our lives, we are being faced with these doom. And then let's not forget climate change, then we're getting that rolled into the whole story. So I would say that's probably also impacting upon our dreams, because the second we watch the news and we go there, our unconscious goes into all this, are we safe? Is something bad going to happen to me? Is my day-to-day personal survival rate being threatened here? And we go into fight or flight. And look, there's no use, I know, and I've done this before, exerting a bit of moral superiority. Well, I don't watch the news. I don't let myself get badly affected by these negative vibrations. And I love when I can do that. But as I said, do give yourself a bit of slack if you found yourself watching the news or being invested in stuff a bit more than usual, because on a practical level, it is sometimes the only way we can find out what's going on in our own town or country or city, or, what's going on for our families. I know for me, my mother lives in a different state than me, so I'm having to kind of check in to see what's going on, because where she lives is going into lockdown a lot. She's a nurse, so I get concerns, and I think, okay, well, am I going to be able to see her for Christmas? And my sister lives in Canada. Am I going to be able to see her anytime in the next 5 years? So those things do play in all of our lives. So if you find that there's an increase in nightmares, it just could be actually that it's the news coming in and gremlining into your mind and giving you lots of scary stuff. So maybe if you can, just try to reduce it a little bit and see if that makes a difference. So I hope that helps with those of you who are experiencing more nightmares. And again, going back to your own individual dream interpretation, I love to write my dreams when I wake up in the morning if they've been quite profound, and just be like, what do I think this represents? Like, what was I afraid of in this dream? What was my biggest fear? Or, you know, is there any symbolism? As you guys know, I'm a massive fan of symbolism. I love how symbolism works in psychic readings. I love how it works in art and in tarot. I love how it works in our dreams. So what were the big symbols that came through, and what do these symbols mean to me? And just giving a little bit of that kind of feeling and journaling if you're trying to map out what the dream could be. And then you might come in and ask some people, okay, what do you guys think of this? And get some interpretation. Hello, Carol, you just got in. Lovely to see you. So, and thank you, Brianna, for sharing your dreams. I'll comment on those when I've got through this. And you too, thank you, Leslie. So I hope that's helped with understanding a bit more about how to manage your dreams and how to deal with dream interpretation. But again, if you see someone pop into the group, I mean, this isn't a rule. Don't feel like anyone's going to get deleted for saying, you know, what do you think this dream means of my cousin smoking a cigarette and falling off a bridge? Like, that's not good. You know, you won't get deleted for saying it. But, you know, encourage people to try to go back and think about what it means to them first. And then that helps their psychic journey a bit more as well. So I hope that's helped, my loves. So I'm going to segue now into working with your angels and working with your spirit guides. If you're not someone who believes in angels and you're more interested in gods and goddesses, or you're more interested in the ascended masters, or just your own guardians and spirit guides. So Trina asked a question a little while ago about, you know, can these guides heal me? When she did the guardian angel meditation that's in your course, she felt this incredible, like, onslaught of grief and wanted to just stay there and be healed. Now it is, you definitely, you can go back in and do this meditation as many times as you want, and in the process you can have tremendous and transformative healing sessions with your guides, with sessions like this. I also have, in that psychic readings intermediate level, I have a huge meditation in there where you go into a temple with your guides and you forge a contract with them, like a long-term healing contract with them. So that can be really useful as well when you're wanting to do this ongoing healing journey, especially if you're wanting to be a professional psychic. And what I've found is that the way, I mean, you can do it through the guided meditations, but other ways you can work with guides and angels too. And one way that I just even did recently was I was having some health issues and I had to get a few tests done, and I could feel myself going into a bit of, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't really want to deal with this. Why have I got to deal with this? And I remember I went through that for a while, and sometimes I just let myself do that because I know what it's like. You know, if I fight and resist it, it just ends up being a battle. So I just let myself do it. And then I went, okay, my guides and angels, I just lay on my bed. I said, I'm just going to allow you to do what you need to do right now to help me in this healing journey. I've done enough of the why me and why is this going on and what am I going to do and what does it all mean? Just heal what needs to be healed so I can take the next steps. And it was so interesting. And I didn't get a beautiful flash of light from the sky and an angel appear in the room and dance around me. I didn't get that. I just kind of breathed in and breathed out, and I had a bit of a nap, and I woke up and I went on my merry way. And within a couple of hours, I just started feeling like what had been annoying me, it was in my sinus, it just didn't feel as annoying. Like, it was there and I was conscious of it, but it wasn't as annoying. So it was a bit like if any of you have ever had gas at the dentist and you're kind of aware of the pain, but it's not bothering you. And I went, oh, that's interesting. And I kind of felt, and I knew it was them, and I was like, thank you guys. And I just felt a bit lighter about it. But what that gap in the pain gave me was it gave me some clarity about what I needed to change in my life a bit more so that I could move through this quicker. And that, for me, is how the healing journey with the angels can often work. Sometimes you do it with your cards, and again, your spirit guides, your ascended masters, your gods and goddesses, whoever you're working with that is in a non-physical realm. For me, it's often just asking and just going, look, I'm surrendering this to you now, and leaving it alone, and then going about my business, and then suddenly feeling like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't bugging me as much anymore. And that, I love that way of working with them, because it's not so much, people often go, well, I need to do this ritual and set out 14 crystals, and I need to pray to this God, and I need to light and face east, and I need to make sure that there's no blue around me, or, you know, like sometimes we can really overcomplicate what can be a very simple process, basically. So that's just one little quick way that I like to do healing. And I say that right now because I know a lot of us are probably feeling like we need some healing. But as soon as we start to go down that track, we're like, oh my goodness, this is like the concept of going and even finding a healer or even doing a healing process can feel so overwhelming that you just go, oh, look, I don't want to think about this. I might just eat some chocolate and watch Netflix. That feels much better. I'm just going to do that instead. The quick fix, which we know doesn't really cure anything, but we go, it feels too hard to go on a healing journey. I don't have the energy to do that. So if you're ever feeling like that with your healing journey, and you feel like, okay, I don't even feel like I could do that guided meditation again, just try that. Just lying on your bed and just saying, I'm surrendering this up to you, and just let me know what I need to do or what my next steps are. And then just leave it for a while and go off and do something else. So I hope that's helped for Trina and anyone else who was questioning about, can we be healed in these guided meditations, and what more we can do to get healing from our guides and our spirit guides and our angels. So I hope that's helped, my loves. So the next question, if you want to make a comment or a question about that, just pop that in. Oh, Laura says she loves that meditation in the temple from the Psychic Readings Intermediate Level course. Thank you. I loved that so much. I love creating it. It is a very powerful one. It's just that beautiful on the crystal bed and the whole thing. Thank you, Laura. So now I would like to talk about, Lisa asked a while ago about having blockages, reading for others. Now, the first thing is, please don't get alarmed if you find this happens at the beginning of your journey, in the middle of your journey, if you've been doing it for a while. I tend to find that psychics, even experienced ones, will go through ups and downs and sometimes feel like they just can't read for anyone. And that often just means they need a bit of a break. But if you're just getting started and you're finding you're getting really challenged, like you can do your own oracle card readings or your own channeling and your own awareness, but you go to read for others and you just get stuck. Now, this could mean a number of different things. So again, and I usually say it's the first one that resonates with you that gives you a charge, and sometimes it might be more than one. So quite often it can be that we just have an incredible fear that we're going to get it wrong. And this is very normal. Like, I don't know any professional psychics that at some stage or another have not questioned their abilities. And so it might be that you're like, oh my God, all this responsibility, this person's asking me about should they leave their job, and I'm worried I'm going to get it wrong. And so this block comes in and it disconnects you from your angels, your guides, your cards, your intuition, your wisdom. Like it just, and you kind of seize up. Now, this, as I said, it is actually common because we live in a society where we get very shamed for doing things wrong. Working in the psychic realm, that's even more pressure, because it's like, that often it's just a yes or a no. There's and that feeling can be like, oh my goodness, if I made this big mistake, this person's going to judge me. So I do have a course called Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT Tapping. It's on Udemy. And so many of my students have found that when they did that course, they let go of that fear of being wrong. It's a very gentle process that you can work on yourself. You can even teach your clients to just no longer feel that anxiety that you're going to make a mistake. And once you no longer feel that, then you are much more receptive to messages that come through, because you're not in the nerve, fight or flight that you're going to get something wrong. So I do recommend looking at that. You could also be looking at, and this is also in that course as well, anything to do or do journaling on your own with perfectionism. And like, if you find in your life you're someone who everything has to be perfect, then take some time out to work on that. Go on a bit of a soul journey with yourself and do some journaling about it. Try to get down to where it came from. Part of what I do in that course, in the EFT course, is I try to get you to figure out, okay, where in your childhood did you first get shamed for getting something wrong? Because that could be triggering a reaction in you right now where you're afraid to do readings for others because you think you're going to get it wrong and you're going to be punished or hurt. Now, going in on a deeper level, this is where we go into the much more deeper esoteric solutions, is it could be a past life thing. I've seen this on so many of my clients and so many of my students where they were psychic, or they were healers, or they were maybe used their gifts in a past life and they got something wrong and they were really badly punished for it. And this was what happened to psychics, because often, when you have spiritual sight, you'll get a lot of information, and sometimes 100% that's not always going to be right. You might get 9 out of 10 things right, but that one thing you get wrong, you might get punished for, or you might have. And people were not very kind to psychics and healers in other lifetimes. And so with that, I suggest you can either work with a healer, or I have a course on Udemy called Remove Blocks to Your Psychic Power with Past Life Therapy, or just do some journaling and go, is this something that maybe happened to me where I feel I'm going to be punished or traumatized if I get it wrong? And go through that process as well, because it might simply be that. And my third little way, if you don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm ready to do another course right now, is just ask your oracle cards, because they will often reveal to you, what is this? Is it a lack of self-love? Is it a lack of self-esteem? Did my mum always pick on me when I got B's instead of A's? Is it a past life thing? Is it, and cards will often reveal that to you, what the sort of source of is as well. So I hope that's helped, my loves, if you are struggling to read for others, or you're worried, and especially if you're someone doing this because you want to, on a long-term basis, be a professional reader, and you're suddenly finding all these blocks are coming up around that, then just do a little bit of soul searching and work and journaling and get behind the scenes. You can shift it. I have seen thousands of people, and I've just seen Carol say, I love your EFT tapping. Like I have seen thousands of people be able to shift this, and I shifted it myself because I had masses of perfectionism and problems with worrying I was going to get something right and someone would judge me and they'd tell the whole world and my reputation to be ruined and all the catastrophizing we do. And I had to work. I did that with tapping. I did that with my past life therapy. And I found a way to just be calm and trust myself to receive those messages. So I hope that's helped Lisa and anyone else who struggles when they feel like they get to a block. And as I said, this might not be happening to you now. It might happen to you in 2 months' time, where you suddenly just seize up. And if that happens, just revisit some of those tips as well. So now I want to, Lo asked the question, which has actually not really been asked that often in this course, which makes me very excited when I get a brand new question. And Lo wanted to know, do you consider your oracle cards as tools and companions? Is it 50-50? Like, what's your relationship like with your oracle cards? And it's a really interesting question when you're wanting to do readings. So I do know of some psychics who totally have turned their back on using any kind of tools, like whether it's crystals, whether it's runes, whether it's cards, whether it's tarot, and saying, no, the best psychic readings are ones where you're just kind of going within and using your intuition. And that's fine. And that's, and I know for me, I probably 50% do both. I'm a 50-50 person in my reading. So I will go in and tune in before someone comes, and I'll see what comes through, and I'll jot that down. Then I'll draw some cards, and I'll do a bit more tuning in and get more information. I'll practice some of those exercises that I was talking to you about that are in psychic readings intermediate level, where I'm strengthening, like I tune in much deeper. And I kind of 50-50 it throughout the session. And then when the client arrives and I put the cards out, I might stop and pause and go back in to get more information. So for me, it's both. But what I have found in terms of making your life a bit easier as a professional psychic, if you're going to do that, or even if you're just playing, people like to see the cards. They really do. And I know myself, before I became a professional, I'd go and see readers and they would just channel through all this information, and I'd be like, oh, okay. But when they channel through that information, then a card comes out that verifies it. I go, ooh, okay, now I'm listening. So I think it's actually to your benefit to back up information that comes through with cards. I do, because that's what people like, that concrete thing. And if you're doing online readings and you're not doing it face to face, you can send them pictures of the cards to just verify that as well. And so I consider that the cards are my companions and they give more information. But the cards are also good because sometimes your client might have a total block and you go in and start trying to tuning into their energy and you're getting nothing. The cards are fantastic for that, because that's like, okay, this person's energy is just like blank. I don't want you to know this about me, or I don't even believe in you, or I don't know why I'm here. This was my husband's idea, or not usually my husband, this is my sister's idea. And so cards are great for that, because people will often be a little bit blown away with what comes through with a card if they are a little bit blocked as someone who's coming to see you as a client. So I hope that's helped, my loves, in understanding, the difference. And it is totally up to you. Like, there is no set rule for me with your psychic journey. Like, you might discover that you use your cards 90% of the time and your clairvoyant gets 10%. You might discover the other way around, or it might be 80% clairvoyance and just a few cards at the end. Like, you'll find your own beautiful groove and how you like to do it. There's no, the way I teach, or if you're following any other instructors, that doesn't have to be your way for the rest of your life. That's just kind of how I roll with it. But you will, and I just see this time and time again, and it just brings me so much joy, you will find your magic way of giving readings and how you balance cards and other tools with your clients and what they need as well. So I hope that's helped. I'm just going to start answering questions, but before I do, I'm just going to announce our Halloween competition. So I run this every year in this group, and what we're going to do is, this is a really fantastic opportunity for you to win one of my courses. So I have, those of you who don't know, I've got 10 different courses on Udemy. So the How to Be Psychic deals with the beginner level, psychic level. I also have the Psychic Readings Intermediate level, which is what I talked about before, which goes into more about strengthening your clairvoyance and the 26 top blocks that a psychic has and how to be a really fantastic psychic. I also have some of these courses that I mentioned where you can release blocks. So if you're afraid of charging money, if you're afraid you're going to be judged, if you don't feel confident enough, if you fear that, like if you've got a past life blockage that stops you from being accurate in your readings because you're worried that you're going to get harmed or hurt. So I've got some courses on that as well. I also have a manifesting abundance course that I did with wealth coach Miriam Castilla, especially for those who want to be healers and psychic professionally. So it's how to give money readings to people, but also how to heal your money blocks and how to look after your money on a very practical wealth level. So Miriam's a fantastic wealth coach. She used to be a financial consultant, and she's also a former engineer. She's got a lot of information about how to build your wealth and grow your wealth. And so there's that course. You can win that one as well. I also have a career reading and life purpose course, which is like, once you finish this one, you can do that as well. Like, it goes into oracle cards and tarot cards. I have tarot card success, and I have a love readings course as well. But focuses specifically like on questions like, when will I meet my soulmate? Will we get back together? So you can win any of, I think that's all my courses. I didn't know, Master Health Readings. I have a health readings course as well, and I have Build Your Spiritual Business on a Budget. So that's my other 9 courses besides this one that you can win. And to win one of these courses, so first prize, you get 3 of my courses. Second prize, you get 2 of my courses. And third prize, you get to choose 1 of my courses. And if you're someone who's like, Sal, I've already done all 10 of your courses, thank you, then you will get credit for my next course that's coming out at the end of this year, and my 2 courses that are coming out next year. So you'll get first look in for that if you've already done them. So the way to enter this competition is, you can only, to be eligible, you just need to have to finish your How to Be Psychic course. So this course, by the 31st of October. Now, if you have already finished this course, you can do one of your other courses. So say you've enrolled in my Master Health Readings course, you can actually use that one instead. And as long as you start after the 7th of October. So what I mean by that, I don't want to confuse you too much with that, but my assistant Kathy will be taking, you send your Udemy course receipt that you've finished, and as long as you receive that after the 7th of October. So basically, I'm trying to encourage you to finish your course by Halloween. So say you're like 20% of the way through the EFT course, and you've enrolled in that EFT course, then you've got till the 31st of October to finish it, and you are eligible. And the more times you enter, so the more courses of mine you've done already and finished and completed, the more you are eligible to go in the competition. And I'm going to draw it on the 2nd of November here, live in the group. So if I'll just explain that again, because you might be like, that doesn't make any sense. So This is to encourage you to finish either How to Be Psychic, or if you've finished How to Be Psychic and you want to enroll in one of my other courses, or you already are enrolled in one of my other courses and you haven't finished, you can enter with that entry. So as long as your date on your certificate that you get from Udemy says that you've received it after the 7th of October. Now, if you're like, Sal, I've done all 10 of your courses and I've finished all 10 of them, I'm going to have a big special competition for you at Christmas. So I'll come back in and do that there. So this is just for people who have already enrolled in one of my courses and want to finish it, or you are thinking of enrolling and want to get it finished and you've got time in the next 3 weeks to finish. It's for those people, or for How to Be Psychic as well. If you're thinking, I've got about 3 lectures left of How to Be Psychic, I might just go in so I can enter this competition and win for free either any of those courses that I mentioned before that I will be drawing on November the 2nd. So to enter, you just need to, I'll post it in the group as well, by the way. You just need to send your certificate from Udemy when you've completed the course or any of my other courses to team@saljade.com. And just put as the description, Halloween competition. So that's team@saljade.com, Halloween competition. And you can post it in here as well under hashtag Halloween competition, but make sure you spell it correctly so that my assistant sees it. Otherwise, if you just post the thing, she won't see it. She'll look under the hashtag Halloween competition. So you can post your completed Udemy course certificate in here, in this group, but just make sure that date has to say after the 7th of October 2021 to be eligible to be in the competition. So, or just send it to team@saljade.com. So good luck, everyone, and it's a great opportunity. There's like hundreds of dollars worth of prizes there to get those courses for completely free. And as I said, that's a lot of you might be thinking, I want to go into health readings, or I want to go more into career readings or love, so you have the opportunity to win one of those courses. So I'm going to start answering questions here. Oh no. Okay, Monique, your earlier questions have vanished. I'm so sorry. Can you post them again? I've got this question. I chose to leave family out of it. If you can go back in and post your question again, because it's just vanished. Facebook clearly are only showing me recent comments. So if you do that, I will answer all those questions for you, Monique. I know you mentioned something about how you had done a reading for someone and the lady didn't like it. This does happen, and the best thing I can say, if that happens, give yourself a beautiful, gentle, healing day. Like for me, I love to just sit on the couch and watch Lord of the Rings and eat popcorn, or just go for a walk and just be kind to myself. You might want to do just a little bit of gentle journaling about what this is bringing up in you, because it often can happen for a reason. Now, if it's only happened once, I would consider that just a one-off and to not take it personally. There's always going to be people who are difficult and challenging and who make you feel like you're not good enough and that kind of feeling. As I said, I do have courses that help when you feel like you're confronted by difficult clients, and that might help as well. But just, it is everybody has this experience. I've never met a psychic who's a professional who hasn't had a difficult client. So if that happens, just step back and just give yourself some self-love. If it's happening a lot, then I'd suggest you might need to look at doing a healing on yourself. But if it's only happened once, just say, okay, this is making me feel like this. Do a bit of writing and journaling. Ask your guides and angels to bring in some healing for you. But again, just forgive yourself and forgive her and move on, because we've all had it happen. I've had some really awful experiences with readings with people, and it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it hurts a lot and it makes you want to give up. And knowing that it actually does happen occasionally, that makes it feel a bit better, because it's nothing you've done wrong most of the time. Like 99% of the time, it's not anything you've done wrong. I do also have, Monique, on my YouTube channel. If you just go Sal Jade Clairvoyant Healer on my YouTube channel, I have a resource in there called Overcoming Cloudy Readings. So if you think maybe you got the reading wrong, or it might have been you, go and check out that video. It only goes for about 10 minutes, and that gives a whole lot of tips in there about how you deal with readings that don't make sense, and why it might be that reading didn't resonate. So I hope that's helped, Monique. Brenna, I had a dream, a big red back jumped at me. Those of you I assume, Brenna, you're Australian, because that's an Australian spider, I think. I don't know if they exist elsewhere. Maybe they do, but I only think about them as Australian spiders. and you couldn't get it off. Can you please explain what it could mean? Again, what do spiders mean to you? For me, I mean, the cliche of spiders is that they're about creativity. But if you've got a paranoia of spider, it might just be something that you're scared of going to attack you. It bit your lip and you couldn't. Okay, so I would think anything around the mouth would be, maybe someone's trying to silence you, because that to me is, it's maybe someone's trying to stop you speaking. That would be my first thing, is someone, because spiders are quite scary, so maybe someone's trying to stop you speaking your truth. That would be what I would say. But again, go back and think, what did it mean to you first? I would take that first. Monique, do I believe in visual manifestation? Yes, absolutely. Yes, so I do a lot, and I teach manifestation more in that Manifesting Abundance course. So I do believe you can visually create that things happen to you, and it's happened to me all the time, that I just close my eyes and I create it, and it does happen. Yes, absolutely. Like an ex texting you. But speaking of that, if it's not for my highest good, then it often won't happen. But I can often sit there and just visualize and go, okay, my sister calling, and then that happens. So yes, absolutely. So bringing an ex back and attracting money. So attracting money, yes, do look at that Manifesting Abundance. I could talk about the course is like 5 hours long, which just goes to show how much content is in there about the law of attraction and how to use your vibration to attract and magnetize more money to you, definitely. Hi, back. The notification didn't go through. Oh, I don't know why. Facebook. So you weren't meant to get a notification. You just meant to show up live, and then it comes. Laura, you love the meditation with the temple and the guides. Thank you. You like a guy who's not feeling the same. Look, I'm not a fan of love spells, Monique. I'll be very honest with you. I think I would instead work with your guides and angels and ask for them to help you heal what you need to heal to manifest the right person for you. I don't think and this is just that, no judgment. I've done love spells, don't get me wrong, on myself, with disastrous, horrible, hideous results. Is my only thing. I think it's better to work on healing yourself so you can attract the right person into your life. That's my personal thing. You could work with a healer to help clear and heal. Yes, you could visually manifest someone back into your life, but I don't think that's always a good thing. And also, you've got to think about free will. Like, would you imagine one of your exes that you don't want to be with anymore and you're not interested in? Imagine you found out he'd gone and cast a spell on you to come back to him. Like, you would probably feel very angry about that. So for me, it's not a good idea to force through magic people coming back. I would prefer to go down the path of healing whatever you need to heal so you can attract the right person for you in your life. So I hope that's helped. That's my personal opinion. Others might feel differently, but that's how I deal with clients who are trying to manifest and attract love into their life. I encourage them down that path. Brenna, makes no sense. Doubting yourself. Yes, yeah. Doubting yourself can be the biggest block to getting information coming through. Carol, fear's a big block. Leslie, you've been feeling detached over the last couple of weeks. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. And you did no readings, and then you did a Celtic cross reading, and it felt so good and spot on. It's uncanny. Sometimes we just need a break. Absolutely. And as I said, especially with what's going on with world energy right now, it's not surprising that many, many, many of us are needing a break from intensity. You send pictures, Laura? Awesome. Yeah, that's what I like to do too. I send pictures of my cards. You're learning from me. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. You love my courses. Thank you, Monique. You need the push to finish, Blake. Awesome. Yes. Once you finish, you'll feel so proud, and it's not such a big course that it'll take you forever and ever. Carol, I agree. I had a friend bring a friend and he was in a sorrowed state. I let him hold a crystal, then I pulled some cards and did the reading through cards and psychic intuition. He was so overwhelmed by the cards in a good way, and he really resonated with them and the messages. It was one of my best readings. His comment to my friend the next day was priceless. He felt reborn, coming out of a cocoon. Yes, cards relax and confirm messages. Yeah, 100%. That's how I feel about them too. I feel like they just give people the peace of mind, because I don't know what percentage I would say, but I'm going to say at least I think 50 to 60% of people that will often come and see you, if you're only doing the channeling, will have some doubts about the authenticity of what's coming through. Whereas cards will give them that, oh my goodness, like that you can't sort of deny with what's right down in front of you written on a card. Seriously, you think you have most of my courses already, but you like to go back again at times as a refresher. Yes, thank you. A lot of students do that, and I love that because you often find when you go back in, there's something that you're dealing with right now that you weren't dealing with before. You're like, oh wow, that's exactly what I need to deal with right now. And especially like my intermediate level courses where I do a lot more sample readings, so I do a lot more kind of live sample readings for you. And what often can happen is people will be like, oh my goodness, I just did a reading with that exact question the other day, like when will we get back together, and or will I meet my soulmate, and it's come out nearly the same, and wow, that's amazing. So yes, I think going back is really helpful. You've got 8 out of 10 of my courses. You've just got 2 more to go. Well done. Thank you, Amy. So the lady who didn't like it was family. So I said, what are the options for a beginner who wants to keep family and friends out of it? Oh, these are the options. So and I say that in this course, How to Be Psychic, I think it's better not to read for family and friends. I think just practice in this group. So just follow the feedback template so if you go into your course under How to Join the Psychic group, the Facebook group, and you click on the feedback template, and there's also in this group, there's also an energy exchange template, and you just download it and then practice in this group. Put offers in to practice with people in exchange for other readings or to get feedback. That's the best way to do it, and that's how most people do. No, I can't email them to you, my love. You've got to go and find them. So you can find them by just going into your course and just under resources. So you come to How to Join the Facebook group, and it's about lecture 3 or 4, and then just download them from your resources. Catherine, you dreamt of being brought to nature with lots of crystal grids full of amethyst and clear quartz, and you felt happy. Wow, I'm so jealous. I want that dream right now. Definitely, I would say that's a huge form of healing. I mean, to dream of crystals and feeling happy, that for me feels like you've probably come out of something really intense and you're ready for a lot more transformation and healing. Monique, an uncomfortable subject, but you're curious, what does the word no associate with wickedness? I'm not sure. Like through a spiritual attack, the person under shouts, no, no, no. Any ideas? So can you give me an example of that? So are you saying you had a client and when they were channeling information or something, or they started screaming no? I mean, that sounds like they might have had an unconscious attack as a child or something. That's what I would say. But if you give me an example. Oh, okay. So because you had wickedness sent towards you and you come across evil black magic. So with that, go back into your lecture on psychic protection that is in this course and use all of those things. And also in the lecture on crystals, there's lots of great crystals you can use for psychic protection as well. Okay, thank you guys. Now, if anyone has any other further questions, just pop them in here. And just a reminder, if you want to join the Halloween competition, you can post any certificates you've done that you finish between now and the end of this month, so the 31st of October. I'm going to draw it on the 2nd of November, and you can post it in here under hashtag Halloween competition, or you can just send it to team@saljade.com. And so anyone can enter as long as it's one of my courses, obviously. I remember a few years ago, someone sent me a course, another instructor, and I was like, no, it's for my courses. Easy mistake to make, and that is something I would do. But so send it to Kathy or my assistant, or to post it in here. And as I said, as long as the date on your certificate reads that you received the certificate after the 7th of October, you are eligible. So I hope that helps everyone, and if you have any more questions, pop them in here. If you are watching on YouTube and you are on the replay, just hit subscribe so that you can always receive these without having to worry that you're going to miss out as well. And if you're watching it live right now and you think, oh, I'd really love to get these, because I do these every 2 months in this group, and I do one in Tarot Card Success in the Tarot group. I do that every second month. So next month I'll do one in Tarot Card Success. You can just go to my YouTube channel, Sal Jade Clairvoyant Healer, and hit subscribe, and you'll always get notified of them. So Monique, if you don't want to go through black magic again, go through those lectures that I mentioned. Have you done those lectures yet? Because that might help as well. Big on crystals, yeah. What oracle, I love this question, Brenna. What oracle deck would you recommend to find out what your blocks and what is blocking you? So in the intermediate level courses, I talk which oracle decks are best for career readings, which are best for love readings. So I usually would go with a theme. It depends on where you're being blocked. But I really like Whispers of Healing. I think that's a beautiful deck. I like Kyle Gray's Angel deck. That's a really good one for me. And I also like, I mean, again, it would depend on where your block is. If it's career focused or life purpose focused, that's how I would tend to go with my clients. If I can see they've come to me for career reading and I was going to pull out oracle cards, I would focus on that more career based one or one that features that. So there's no just one for blocks for me, but I would, on a very generic level, I would go for Kyle Gray's Angel Prayers. I think that's a fantastic deck for identifying different levels of blocks, like whether it's self-love, whether it's money, whether it's, they're good for that as well. Hi, Kat. Thank you. It was so good to see you. Kat is like a long-term person. You've been doing these courses for ages. Thank you. And I've seen you a lot on my Facebook business page too. Okay, so Monique, I think probably it sounds like with that experience of getting over the fear, you might need to work with a professional healer. Like if you've tried the crystals already and if you've tried the psychic protection rituals that are in this course and you're still feeling like nothing's changing, I would go and find a spiritual healer. Sounds like what you probably need to do. And that's what I would do for you. So if you're looking for someone, my best recommendation is I have spiritual healers and readers who have done my advanced VIP tarot certification program on the Psychic Healing Academy. So if you go to saljade.com and click on Advanced Tarot Program and go right to the bottom, you'll see a list of my recommended healers and psychics. So you can go in there and you might be able to find someone in there who works with that as well. Hi, Brenna. Thank you. So if anyone else has got any questions, please pop them in here. And as I said, I'll probably back in next week to answer any questions. And thank you so much all for joining me. I hope that's helped you today. And good luck with the Halloween competition. Thank you. Bye.